Hi guys, Rubin Aka here. Sometime back, I made a video on foster care. As you may remember, foster care has two components. One is the family foster care, other one is called as group foster care. In my earlier video, I talked all about family foster care, and today we're going to learn all about group foster care. Are you ready? Let's do it. On September 24th of 2020, if you remember, NCPCR, that is National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights, had issued an order stating that all the children in children's homes in 8 different states, including our home state of Tamil Nadu, ought to send all the children repatriated back to their families. And those who cannot be repatriated ought to be either given in for adoption or for foster care. So in reply to that directive, I made a video on family foster care. If you like to look at that video, please go to this link now. But this video is only going to be talking about group foster care. Now, NCPCR has said that all the children ought to be sent home, and those that cannot be sent home either ought to be given for adoption or foster care, which means the role of children's homes is going to diminish over the years. This is my personal prediction. I think since this has come into the mind of NCPCR, which is the right thing actually, to say the least, the role of children's homes is going to diminish gradually, where we are going to be caring more number of children, either with the biological parents or at the adoptive parents or at the foster families or at the group foster care. So this video is all about group foster care. So let's look at the definition of group foster care. There is a document in the description box below called Model Guidelines for Foster Care. In this document, the definition of group foster care goes like this. It is a family-like environment in a fit facility for children who needs care and protection but without parental care, in order to provide personalized care and sense of belongingness and identity. So I'm going to break down the definition for you. First thing that you have to know about what definition is saying is, where do we provide group foster care? The first sentence in the group foster care, it says group foster care means it is a family-like environment in a fit facility. So fit facility means it is a facility that any JJ Act registered organization has in a community. It should look like a home. It should not look like a children's home. It should not look like some kind of a organization. It should look like a regular home. Family-like environment ought to be provided. Maximum number of children that can stay in a fit facility that is used as a group foster care is 8, and both the genders of children can stay. Next is, who needs group foster care? It says children who needs care and protection but without parental care. Remember, the definition is not saying about children without parents. It is saying children without parental care. Parents may be alive. Parents may be unfit because they are incarcerated. They may be struggling with terminal illness. They may have abandoned the children but they are somewhere. In such cases, children can be cared for in group foster care. Why do we have to do this? It says in order to provide personalized care and to give sense of belongingness and identity. Coming to the criteria of choosing a fit facility, first thing that you have to be doing is to be registered under the JJ Act. Even if you are a registered NGO and if you are not registered under JJ Act, perhaps you cannot do group foster care. The second point that you have to keep in mind is the facility where you're going to be doing group foster care ought to be recognized as a fit facility. Fit facility is basically a facility that is recognized by the Child Welfare Committee of your district to provide certain specialized services for children that needs care and protection, and group foster care is one of those kinds of specialized services. Third point is that your NGO ought to have been registered on Niti Aayog Darpan portal. Number 4, your organization must have a child protection policy. Number 5, all the caretakers who are going to be working in this group foster care home must have medical fitness certificates to prove that they have no terminal or contagious infectious diseases. Number 6, all the caretakers ought to produce police verification certificates to prove that there are no criminal cases pending against them. Number 7 is space requirement. It does not give you an objective figure how much space per child is required in this group foster care home, but it says adequate space ought to be there. What I would suggest that you should do is look at the JJ Act and JJ rules about the space requirement that it says in the children's home. In the children's home, it amounts to 1:40 square feet. That is, for every one child, you ought to have 40 square feet of living space, that is excluding bathrooms and toilets. So, maximum number of children that can be accommodated in any group foster care is 8 plus 2 caretakers. So, you have 10 individuals living in a group foster care home. So, for them, living space alone ought to be 400 square feet minimum. And it says bathrooms and toilets should be separately available for the children. Both gender of children can stay together, boys and girls, and they ought to have separate bathrooms at the ratio of toilets, 1:4. One important criteria that the guidelines are speaking about, the look and feel of a facility that you're going to have for the group foster care. They're saying it should be in an existing community with people living there, and it should have a look and feel of a house. So that is to promote local interaction with the local children and local community. So here, if I may say, some NGOs have a large space of campus where they have small cottages and they have 10-15 children in each cottage. Would that suffice as a group foster care? According to the guidelines, probably not. What they're saying is it has to have a look and feel of a home, and it shall, not preferably, it shall exist in the existing community where there are people living, so that there would be local interaction with the local children and the children in the group foster care home. Okay, we've been talking about the facility, but now let's come to the caretakers. Caretakers ought to be 2 for every 8 children. That is 1:4 ratio ought to be considered, and they ought to be recruited on the guidelines laid down by the state government. But for this group foster care caretakers guidelines, I couldn't find any. I do not know where you can find them. Once you recruit them, they ought to be given training to be caretakers, and naturally they have to have the affinity to work with children. They ought to have natural bonding attitude towards children, and also your organization must have a retirement policy for these employees. We have talked about the facility, we have talked about the caretakers, now we have to talk about the children. Where do children come to stay at group foster care homes? They can come from 3 different locations. One is existing children's homes where there are children who needs care and protection. Of course, all the children's homes only will have children that needs care and protection, but who do not have parental care can be considered to be placed in group foster care. So who identify these children? In DCPO's office, there is a probation officer, institutional care, will identify such kind of children. Second one is adoption agencies. There are children that are declared legally free for adoption by the CWC of the district, but the children couldn't be placed in adoption. Such kind of children also can be considered for placing them in group foster care. Who identify these children? Again, in DCPU office, there is a probation officer, non-institutional care, who will identify such children. Now, third category of children are in the community. There may be children that are living in the community who needs care and protection but does not have parental care. Let's say, for example, both the parents, succumb to HIV and grandmother is taking care of these children, and suddenly grandmother lost all her income. So she's unable to care for these children. She's saying she does not want to give up the right on the children for adoption, but she wants some kind of help. So you're coming here and saying, hey, we have a group foster care, would you like to consider? So the non-institutional probation officer, non-institutional care would visit such a family and identifies and writes up a child study report and submit to the Child Welfare Committee. So the first category of children are in the institutions, that is children's homes, identified by the PO, institutional care. Second one is in the adoption agencies that are identified by PO, non-institutional care. Third one is in the community who are identified by PO, non-institutional care. So any one of these children ought to be given to CWC, and CWC is the place who will match these children to see if they are eligible and if they are qualified to be placed in a group foster care. Once the children are identified and given an order to you by the CWC to place these children in group foster care, the group foster care starts functioning, and from there on DCPU will make monthly visits to ensure that the standards are maintained and the children are doing well in your group foster care. One other category of people also can do group foster care. Let's say a couple wants to do group foster care and they have 2 children. Can they do it? Perhaps not on their own. So they have to associate themselves with an organization that has a registration under the JJ Act and say to them that they want to run a group foster home. So NGO that is registered under the JJ Act will consider this couple as caretakers, and they already have 2 children, and they find them a fit facility, and maximum they can place in this home is 6 children, because they already have 2 children. So they have to give them training, they have to ensure that they have no medical problems, they have no criminal records filed against them, and you follow the proper recruitment procedures, training, and then you place children, and they can also take care of children. If you are running a children's home already, it's basically nothing but a small children's home. You may be having a children's home with 25, 50, 100 children or more, but group foster care home is going to be maximum of 8 children in an existing community where there are neighbors for the children's interaction. So they are growing up like as though they are growing up in a community. So it is a small children's home situated in a local community. This is why I said to you in the beginning that children's homes roles are going to diminish over a period of time, because NCPCR has started this process where they do not want to have any children in the children's homes. But I think children's homes will have a role, but their role will be diminished. As I said, it will not be eliminated completely, but there may be children that cannot be placed in adoption, they cannot be placed in foster care. Such kind of children only can be considered in children's homes. Remember the criteria of hierarchy: biological parents, adoptive parents, foster family, group foster care, and children's home. So what are the advantages and disadvantages to start a group foster care home? First, disadvantages. The initial investment to start a group foster care home can be very high. You already have a children's home with X number of children, and it could be your own building, and now to start a group foster care home, you might have to rent a facility. You might have to pay a deposit, a 1-year deposit, a 6 months deposit. And then you have to set up this facility. You know, you have to have the cooking equipment, beds, cots, you name it. Like setting up a home, you need initial investment that can be a huge disadvantage. Second one is multiple group homes. If you have 80 children, maximum you can have in one group home is 8 children. So you will have to have 10 group foster care homes, which means again your initial investment expenditure is going to be multiplied by 10 times. Coming to advantages, there are several advantages. Actually, I like these advantages a lot. The first one is the space requirement. You know that in JJ Act very clearly states that every child ought to have 40 square feet of space. But here they have not stated the 40 square feet, but I told you to be on the safer side to follow the 40 square feet which is stated in the JJ Act. But if you do have lesser space, I don't think anybody is going to question you, because lawfully you are not asked to follow that requirement. So if you have a space that is less than 40 square feet, you can still run it. Second advantage is boys and girls can stay together until they are 18. Right now in a children's home, only up to 10 years of age, boys and girls can stay together and they have to be separated. And the third advantage is staffing pattern. See, if you really look at the staffing pattern of the children's home, it is for every 3 children, there ought to be 1 staff. But here, there is for every 4 children, there is 1 staff, and there are no additional staff is required. For example, in a children's home, you probably ought to have a security guard, you probably have to have a separate cook, all these categories of employees that you have to recruit. But here, just 2 caretakers who have to take care of everything, like a mom looks after the children at a regular home in the community. Next advantage that I can talk about is the money. Children's home, you will have to pay, in our state at least, electricity at a commercial rate. But since you are renting a house in a regular community, you will be paying electricity costs at a domestic price. And the next cost benefit is the funding that is government is going to extend you. 2,000 rupees per child per month is available under the foster care system. That's all the information I have for you today, folks. If you like this video, give me a like, share it, leave me a comment, and most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Till we meet again, goodbye.